ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on. We thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Psychos and Sociopaths, we're going to go over John Dillinger. And he's not really a psychopath per se. Technically, he's only killed like one person. And that's what started his bout as a killer.
It wasn't even really him. It was the gang that did it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily him pulling the trigger. But
yeah. Because we went over one of his gang members, Babyface Nelson, and he was all about of the killing.
Oh yeah, he had no compunction. Babyface Nelson was. I mean, if you're talking about psychos,
yeah,
he would probably be a little bit more towards. He would fit that bill a lot better.
Okay, there's 2 things I didn't know about Babyface Nelson, and we'll get into this. What we talked about the last episode that we did, Gangster, was the fact that Babyface Nelson's first gang, you know what it was? The strippers. Because they stole tires.
Oh, so they're stripping the tires.
Yeah, they're stripping the tires. So I was like, man, could you imagine that? They start stripping the tires and everything, and they have a pole and someone's dancing on it to get the distraction.
Dude, man, it would be like the sand bottom, like the basketball hoops that they just have a sand bottom like that, and then they just kind of roll it out and just set it in the middle.
And the other thing, they had it was
you wonder too, would he actually enjoy, because he hated the name Babyface. He hated it.
It was the newspapers that gave him the name.
Right. So you would wonder how he would take the name, like the today's connotation of stripper.
That would be fucking hilarious.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. But did you know they had an automatic 1911? It was like I think it was 38.
It was like an automatic. I didn't.
It was full automatic. And I know it's like only 8 rounds, but that was Babyface Nelson's favorite gun. He had a full automatic. I thought it was a typo.
1911 and 38. That'd be.
Yeah. Hell, just recently I saw a it was a 1911 style gun, but it was kind of it didn't have the hammer, and it didn't look like a 45 Lord's caliber, but it looked like a 38, and the registration, I mean, it looked almost like a Glock nowadays.
Yeah.
I was enthralled. I was like, they made it? They made something like that? Because I thought that was like a new concept. And I think that was the fully automatic one.
Right.
Because it didn't have a hammer. It was enclosed pin and hammer. So I don't know. But getting back to this, John Herbert Dillinger Born June 22nd, 1903, and lived to July 22nd, 1934, was an American gangster during the Great Depression, which at that time frame, a lot of people got, there was a lot of bank robberies. Don Dillinger did 24 banks and 4 fucking police stations. That's,
you gotta wonder exactly, because he's not going in there. Well, obviously he's going in after probably weapons and ammo and stuff like that, but
well,
can you imagine actually going and robbing a police station? You know the balls you would have to have.
No,
even back then.
That's nothing. When I was going over to Bonnie and Clyde, they robbed an army armor depot.
Yeah.
And that's how they got the bars and all their ammo and everything like that. So back then they didn't really, you could probably just like compared to like nowadays to where everything's like secure, except for that one I saw on TikTok where the motor pool was in flames. But looking back then about a lot of stuff, like he was in prison several times and escaped twice. Back then they didn't really have that much security as they do now. I mean, when I was a correctional officer, you had like, just to get into the mustard room, I'd have to go through 4 doors. Well, technically 5. One was self-open, but 4 mechanical doors just to get to the mustard room. So I don't know how it's just so strange how we evolved so bad. And I didn't know they had bulletproof vests back in that time frame.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we don't know how effective they were, but they had a form that were fairly, I mean, they were heavy. Obviously they're not going to be as streamlined as what we have now.
Yeah, because they didn't have,
they weren't Kevlar fibers.
Yeah. When was Kevlar made? Kevlar was made like in the 60s, wasn't it?
60s or 70s. I something like that.
Kevlar made? Yeah, 65.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
After Vietnam.
But he was charged but not convicted of murder of East Chicago Indiana police officer who shot Dillinger with in his bulletproof vest during the shootout. It was the only time Dillinger was charged with a homicide. So
charged but not convicted.
Yeah. It's one of those no body, no count, or no witness, no count.
Yeah. It's crazy for how much he actually did, and the reputation of those old time gangsters like that. There are not a lot of bodies attached to them.
Yeah, it was so strange.
For all the shit that they did. I mean, you said 24 banks and 4 police stations. Like they robbed 4 police stations without a body. It blows my mind. I don't know how you even.
Yeah.
The planning and execution of being able to accomplish that is outrageous.
you have like the Hollywood prospect of how a bank robbery is supposed to go, like Heat, and the worst bank robbery ever was the Los Angeles one, where the 2 criminals,
North Hollywood.
Yeah, the North Hollywood one, when they were fully armored and everything. And nowadays, anytime someone robs a bank, there's at least 1 or 2 bodies dropped in movies. But in all reality, we have a bank here in town that's been robbed 3 or 4 times, I think, by the same person. You know what he used? Sunglasses and a baseball cap, and he's never been found.
That's crazy.
That's insane. That's what it takes. And what's really sad is like when I was going into the Babyface Nelson one, And the reason why I keep on saying going over face Nelson's because he was in Don Dillinger's gang, and we explained that in the Babyface Nelson episode. But they made they robbed a person and they got $2 million technically,
right? And adjusted
and
for inflation.
Yeah, inflation. But even back then, I mean, I see that I did the calculation and everything. They basically had probably around about close to about 3 to 4 million, maybe a little bit more. I did my math might be wrong. In total, the bank robberies were actually the ones that they didn't get that much off of them.
Yeah,
because banks technically don't hold that much cash, and but I'm looking at this. And I was like, why don't you just stop and just invest that shit? What happened to all that? I want to know what happened to all this fucking money.
right.
That I don't care.
Like I know you would stash some of it, and obviously, that happened quite a bit then as well.
Because
you didn't have to worry about any of the tracking requirements that they have in currency nowadays and stuff like that. But
yeah, because we track the serial numbers and everything now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You would have to have. There's a lot of laundering and shit like that they would have to do, but stash. I mean, you still had to quote unquote launder it somehow. You had to clean it somehow.
Yeah, back then you didn't have to worry about that because
you didn't have to worry, but it was a lot easier to get it accomplished.
Well, no, it's not that. It's okay. Back then, just going to another state and robbing that bank because the information wasn't transferred too easily.
Right.
And
you're not having a lot of interagency cooperation.
And the only reason why you launder money nowadays is because the basic fact of the United States has a thing. I think it was during Nixon's administration to where without an investigation, you only have like $10,000 going into your account. Like if I gave you $1 million, you would be flagged for all kinds of stuff. Got a message. Yeah, I'll get back to that. But you would have that's the whole reason why you have to launder money nowadays.
Right. Well, yeah, you got electronic tracking and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I get heavily into criminal organizations and everything to the point to where it's nowadays it's Bitcoin art. What was it? Bitcoin art. Huh?
The NFTs.
I don't know if it's NFTs now. It might be.
NFTs are stolen all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, comic books. They used almost everything they could possibly can to where art is the biggest one they traffic mostly. It's like for $1 million, if you have $1 million painting and everything, they transfer it with that, and then they go sell it or whatever. But that's how it's done. And Amazon right now is the biggest one because they'll get the reason why a lot of they steal credit cards and buy stuff on Amazon and they resell it on Amazon again for that. That's how you launder money. I mean, I end up going down rabbit holes, and mind you, I'm far. If I did anything criminal, I would have been found out within seconds. As soon as I pressed the fucking button, I was like, "I'm going to be a crime boss." I would get a knock on the door. That's how bad my luck is for that stuff.
Right. They'd be pulling in the driveway about the same time as you.
Yes, pretty much. I was like, "Hey,
we just followed you here.
we just followed you here, and we feel that you did something criminal." I did
it. Sorry, that was my bad. My bad. Sorry.
I pressed the button.
I got you.
But John Dillinger was born June 22nd, 1903, at 2053 Copper Street, Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm surprised they got everything. I mean, this is like detailed. The younger of the two children born in John Wilson Dillinger, 1864 to 1943, and Mary Ellen Molly Lancaster, and she was born 1870 to 1907. Okay, the mother didn't last that long, but the father did. Don,
Oh, he was around for a while, yeah.
yeah, he was 80. He was about 80. John Dillinger's parents had married on August 23rd, 1887. Dillinger's father was a grocer by trade and reported a harsh man. In an interview with reporters, Dillinger said that he was firm in his discipline and believed that the adage "spare the rod, spoil the child," spoil the child. And Dillinger's older sister, Audrey, was born in 1889, and the mother died in 1907, just before his 4th birthday. Audrey married Emily Fred Hancock that year and had 7 children. You know what? Just let's skip all that stuff. Dillinger had a big family. As a teenager, Dillinger was frequently in trouble for fighting and petty theft, which most of them actually start off very young doing penny ante bullshit. Did you ever steal anything as a kid?
I think I did steal, like, I think literally it was one of those. You remember the little 5-stick things of gum that used to be? It used to be a quarter.
Oh, Bazooka bubblegum.
No, it was like
Bazooka bubblegum. It had a
no
little
no no no
crack in
no
it.
no no no. It was like Wrigley spearmint or whatever. It was
Okay.
the little 5 sticks, the little tiny packs.
Oh, okay.
I probably lifted like a couple of those. Like that was the most. I really was. Dude, I was always terrified of getting in trouble. I was terrified. I never skipped school, mainly because I grew up in a town of 500 people, and anything that happened got back to my parents before I even got home.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened a bunch of times. I would get home and dad would be sitting there and he'd be like, and I would do something and then walk home and dad would be sitting there saying, "Hey, I heard what happened." I'd be like, "Dude, I haven't even been home." Like this, yeah, no, word gets around in a small town, man. So you gotta be careful.
See, which
So I was terrified of that. I was terrified. So I didn't do much. Like I said, I probably lifted 50 cents in gum. That was about it.
See, Wichita Falls is kind of at. What's really strange is I learned how to do sleight of hand because I watched that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they had the
Go
bells,
Turtles. Go Turtles.
the bell suit,
Yeah.
and I can do like the card trick where you just flat. I'll do it every once in a while, and I'll have
I've
the
seen
card
you play
effect.
around with a little bit.
But I do it as a joke because I used just like when I was working at ABB, I'd steal their badges right on front of them. I was like, "Hey, what's this right here?" "Oh, okay." And I would like drop it. And I was like, "Hey, I found your badge." I was like, "Dude, where that was attached to my hat? Where'd you find? I guess it fell off." I was like, "Yeah, I guess it fell off." Weird. It was just something to.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah. I can lift a wallet. I can. I
Oh,
can do
I couldn't if I tried.
dude. It is depending on the person, and it's you have to distract them and everything. Those cowboy wallets, I call them cowboy wallets because mostly cowboys wear it, like the one that you have.
Yeah,
One of those long wallets.
big long.
Those are easy. I'll fucking snatch those and hand it back at the person.
See, you say that. That's why I keep so much shit in mine. Is because it's hard for me to get out. If it's hard for me to get out of my pants, then it's hard for everybody to get out.
You say that.
Plus, I'm. People have tried. I've had like friends fucking around with me. I've had them try. Nobody has got my wallet.
That sounds like a challenge there, sir.
You just want to be reaching in my ass. That's what it is. You just
Oh
trying
no,
to
I'm gonna grab
my
your.
ass.
This is exact. I'll tell you exactly how I'm gonna do it. This is how good I am. I will grab your junk, and I'll distract you enough to where I'll grab your wallet.
You act like I don't get my junk grabbed all the time, anyways.
You know what?
How distracted do you think it would be?
Actually, that was actually true. Only because
You've
I
you've
like
been around. You've been around my buddy Mike at Black Rifle. You've been around him.
yeah,
That
yeah,
dude's the gayest straight dude I know.
yeah. Dude, what's really funny is the basic fact, and we've coming in on this, like, you know, I consider us like acquaintances when I was like going up the TAC, you know, the first time I came to Wichita Falls, and
Right.
that time I played out, we were acquaintances. After
Right.
getting to know you and everything, after the whole, you know, your personal issues, how you know you ended up talking to me about it, and we actually ended up going over it, and you getting the help for that stuff and everything. And after
Yeah.
the fact that after we ended up talking, fucking pussy is just thrown at you, literally fucking thrown at
Okay.
you.
Now let's not. No, it's not quite
You know what?
like it's not
Compared to what I have to deal with, it is literally, it's like, dude, did you just get hit by someone's poontang? Yes, I did. Can we move on now? Can we please move on now?
It's, ladies and gentlemen, keeping score at home. It's really not. It's not. I look. I get approached. Yes. I okay. Anyways, moving on. We're not
Moving on.
We're just gonna gloss over.
Yeah. In 1923, Dillinger's troubles led him to enlist in the United States Navy, where he was a petty officer, third class, as a machinery repairman, assigned aboard the battleship USS Utah. Is machinery repairman the same thing as what they call engineers now? I would have to.
How about machinist mate?
I would have to ask Johnny's dad because he was in the Navy, or I could ask Wolf because he was an engineer. But anyways, he deserted a few months later when his ship was docked in Boston, and eventually dishonorably discharged from some months later. You know, I found out that getting dishonorably discharged nowadays is fucking difficult because it's technically federal now. If you're dishonorably discharged, it's federal. Can't own guns. You can't do almost anything. You're mostly
you can't even get a job sometimes.
Yeah,
having a dishonorable on there is like having a felony.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, it's not because fuck you if you're doing that.
Yeah.
But,
if you're that much of a fuck up, I thought I was gonna get dishonorably discharged when I was discharged, but I was just I was honorably discharged, but they just made sure I couldn't join any kind of fucking military.
No more reindeer games for you.
Yeah. Dillinger returned to Mooresville, where he met Burley Ethel Harvest. I'm gonna Stephen Hawking this real quick. I'm curious.
Obvious.
Harvius. Two married on April 12th, 1924. He attempted to settle down, but he had difficulty, unable to find a job. He began planning a robbery with his friend Ed Singleton, who was an ex-convict. The two robbed the local grocery store, stealing $50. While leaving the scene, the criminals were spotted by a minister who recognized the men, approached them and reported them to the police. During the robbery, Dillinger had struck a victim in the head with a machine bolt wrapped in cloth. A machine bolt wrapped in cloth. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
like
Like
a yeah, kind of like putting the soap bar in a pillowcase. Yeah.
Okay, I got it. That's what it's one of those things that I have to like come back and pull myself back off and just think about it because I'm like, how's that bad? Because my first thinking is they just got the bolt and just had it in a hand, and I was like, oh, he made it like a sling. Okay,
yeah.
And he also carried a gun, which, although discharged, hit no one. The two men were arrested the next day. Singleton pleaded not guilty, but after diligence, father, the local Moorville church deacon, discussed the matters with the Morgan County prosecutor, Omar O'Hara. Fucking hell.
O'Hara.
Yeah, O'Hara. His father convicted Dillinger to confess to the crime and pleaded guilty without retaining the defense attorney. Dillinger was convicted of assault and battery with intent to rob and conspiracy to commit a felony. He expected to latent probated his sentence as a result of father's discussion with O'Hare, but instead the sentences was sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison for his crimes. His father told reports he regrets his advice, and apparently by the sentence. He pleaded with the judge to shorten the sentence, but with no success. En route to Mooresville to testify against Singleton, Dillinger briefly escaped his captors, but was apprehended a few minutes later. Singleton was charged changed venues and sentenced to jail for 2 to 14 years. He died in September 2nd, 1937. That's so strange because back then, like in the Old West, it was either hanging or like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, you didn't have super long prison sentences. Like if it was bad enough that typically like murder and stuff like that, they would just hang you and be done with you.
Yeah, but this was just assault, battery, and conspiracy to commit a felony.
Yeah, that was really bad, and
that's weird.
Really think about it. Like it was a first time offense. It was no, like I said, there was no body involved. Like there was a weapon and there was a firearm discharge again. But when you really get down to it, like for $50, which now would be what, about 500, something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the rate would be, but you're still not talking about it. You'd have a hard time even making it to a felony amount. I mean, obviously, with an aggravated weapon would make it a felony, but
yeah, but
that is a harsh sentence.
Okay, I think the reason why the harsh sentence, and they do this all the fucking time, they give them a harsh sentence, but as soon as they like rat on the other person, then they get them like 2 years.
Yeah, but even for the other dude, like it was, I mean, that's
2 to 14 years.
Pretty steep, yeah.
All right. While he was incarcerated in Indiana Reformatory in Indiana State Prison from 1924 to 1933, Dillinger began to become embroiled in the criminal lifestyle. Upon being admitted to prison, he was quoted to say, "I will be the meanest bastard you ever saw when I get out of here." That just reminds me of Shawshank Redemption, where he became a criminal once he got into jail.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they say it changes you.
His physical examination at the prison showed that he had gonorrhea, and the treatment for the condition was extremely painful. What?
Do you know the treatment for gonorrhea?
Yeah, don't they have to like bash they like put like a rod in, they bash the fuck out of it?
Well, they don't. It's not that they bash it, but they like. And this was, I had a buddy in the army that had to go through this. They put the rod up there, and it's like basically like an umbrella opens
Yeah.
inside, and it like scrapes.
Oh,
You
fuck.
have to like pull all the ick. You're pulling the ick out. But yeah, you shove it all the way up there, and he was describing it to her. He said the nurse was like, "Okay, now I need you hard," and he's like, "What?" And she just like reached out and like grabbed him, and it's like, I need you hard for this part." And he's like, "Okay, awesome." So he responded. She like sticks that thing in there, and it's like, "Okay, I need you soft now." He's like, "It doesn't just go away." So she goes, and she slapped it, and that immediately was like zero, and then did the thing. Yeah, she was like he said she was super clinical about it, but it was just like, yeah, I need you soft now. And he's like, it doesn't work that way. Apparently, it does.
Fucking hell. I am so glad that I used raincoats. Fuck that shit.
Yep, I never had to deal with that.
God.
Thank God,
God damn.
because
Okay.
that could have been really bad. I don't
Yeah.
even.
He
It could have been
became,
really bad.
he came embittered against his against society because of his long prison sentence, and befriended other criminals, including seasoned bank robber Henry Pete Pierpoint, Charles Maskin, Russell Clark, and Homer Von Meter, who taught Dillinger how to be a successful criminal. The men planned heist that they would commit soon after they were released. Dillinger also studied Harry Laman Malassia's bank robbery system and used it exclusively throughout his criminal career. Okay. Sorry, I had a big wad of spit in my mouth. On June 21st, 1933, he robbed the first bank, stealing $10,000. This is what gets me, $10,000. Let me 1933. I'm curious. Da, 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 da.
How much that would be?
Yeah. Interest about $219,000. Okay, so okay,
Not bad.
wrap that around your head. So $250,000. Okay.
Mhm.
On August 4th, and he had to split it up, no big deal. On August 14th, Dillinger robbed a bank in Buffton, Ohio. Tracked by the police from Dayton, Ohio. He was captured and later transferred to Allen County Jail in Lima to be indicted in connection with the Buffton robbery. After searching him before putting him into a prison, the police discovered a document which appeared to be a prison escape plan. They determined they demanded Dillinger to tell them the document meant, but he refused. Earlier, while in prison, Dillinger had helped conceive a plan to enable the escape of Pete Pierpoint, Russell Clark, and 6 others he had met while in prison, most of whom worked in the prison laundry. Dillinger, his friends smuggled guns into their cell, which they used to escape 4 days after Dillinger's capture. The group that formed up, known as the First Dillinger Gang, consisted of Pierpoint, Clark, Charles Mackey, Ed Schaus, Harry Copeland, and John Red Hamilton, a member of the Hamilton Lehman gang. Pierpoint, Clark, Mackey arrived in Lima on October 12th, 1933, where they impersonated Indiana State Police officers, claiming they had extradited Dillinger to Indiana, when the sheriff, Jesse Saber, asked for their contributions. Pearpoint shot Saber dead, then released Dillinger from his cell. The four men escaped back to Indiana, where they joined the rest of the gang. That's one weird thing of how coming, like I said, coming off of as a correctional officer,
Mhm.
you're not allowed, like the prisoners in the all red unit, and this is all Texas Criminal Justice Division. They all wear white outfits,
Right.
which is really strange because they get dye and they can. I've seen they've have, like, if you go to a Huntsville where they have the museum, I think they still have it, is a one of the guard lookalike uniforms.
Yeah.
Where an inmate drew the entire thing, and it looks like almost dead on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Considering what would they have used to draw with?
You'd be surprised.
Like, I imagine that. Oh yeah, they can make. But that's what I'm saying. Like using just scrounging stuff,
dude.
that they're able to get it that well.
The people that scare me the most in real life are inmates that've been around for a while and they get out and they don't have any kind of talent. What they think is don't even have any talent, but they can scout FS because they're meant to like scrounge around and use anything they possibly can.
Right.
Same thing with inmates. Have you ever seen like an inmate speaker?
An inmate speaker?
Yeah.
Like for the radios?
Yeah.
It's just the speaker itself, right? Like they don't have...
it's a speaker. They're about yay big. What they do is they get like a cardboard and they get a razor and they break apart the razor and they make circles and everything, and they etch it out just enough to where it can bounce back and forth, and they get magnets from, because they're allowed to have like headphones.
Yeah.
And they take magnets and they take the wires from the headphones and they make speakers, and they're fucking loud and good.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, one of these times we got to go to Huntsville and take a look at their museum and everything. Me, I don't really have to because I've seen all this shit.
I was gonna say you've already.
It's I can smell a prison from about a couple of miles away. Prisons have like a distinct smell, and it's just, ugh, it turns my stomach each and every time. Escape from Crown Point, Indiana. On January 25th, 1934, Dillinger and his gang were captured in Tucson, Arizona. He was extradited to Indiana and escaped back by Matt Leach, the chief of Indiana State Police. Dillinger was taken to Lake County Jail in Crown Point, Indiana, and imprisoned to face charges for murder of a policeman who had killed during Dillinger's gang bank robbery in East Chicago, Indiana. Is there two Chicagos?
Well, East Chicago is a small town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On January 15th, 1934, and getting the fuck off topic again. Did you know there is Dallas in Georgia?
Mm-hmm. There's Manhattan in Montana.
Yeah. I did when I was working for AT&T, guy was like, I'm in Dallas. Okay, Georgia or Texas. He's like, there's no Dallas in Georgia. I was like, yes, yeah, there is, sir. So are you in Texas or are you in Georgia? I'm in Tech. Let me Google that real quick. He Googled it, and you're fucking not wrong.
Told you.
The local police boasted to area newspapers that they jailed the jail was escape proof and posted extra guards as a precaution. as soon as I read escape proof and extra guards, I was like,
I was like, yeah, they definitely took that as a as a challenge. 100%. You can't say shit like that and be like, okay,
yeah.
we'll see.
However, Saturday, March 3rd, 1934, Dillinger was able to escape during a morning exercises with 15 other inmates. Dillinger produced a pistol, catching deputies and guards by surprise. He was able to leave the premises without firing a shot almost immediately after the conjunction began. Whether the gun Dillinger displayed was real or not, according to Deputy Ernest Bulk, Dillinger had escaped using a real pistol. It was wooden.
I was gonna say, I know what their report says. You know, it was 100% that was CYA, because even the Bureau of Investigation report afterwards said that they've not been able to corroborate that there was a real firearm.
Yeah.
Like, there was one of the inmates even said, no, he carved that out of a piece of shelf.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I 100%, I am convinced to this day that was a fake gun. And they had, when you watch the movie Public Enemies with Johnny Depp, that's how they did it in the movie, was with a wooden.
Yeah, because
and I was
more data corroborates the fact that he used a fake gun than he did.
100%.
And they just wanted to say, I was like, no.
They're trying to say
we wouldn't believe that.
Call it what it is. It's more believable that he did it with the wooden fake gun than it would be if you're trying to convince us that he had a real one.
Fuck yeah. It's one of those moments. It's like, really? Really? Yeah. It was real gun.
Really?
What caliber was it?
It had bullets and everything.
Bullets and everything.
I tell you, I'm super serial, you guys.
But as like we were saying, Sam Cotton, a trustee who Dillinger took hostage in the jail, also believed Dillinger had carved the gun using a razor.
And again,
in some shade,
he's the one that was right next to it. He was the one that was taken hostage by it.
What gets me,
I tend to think that he has some credibility in this.
Okay. Here's the thing on this. Okay, here's the only thing on this. He had an eye view of this gun. Why didn't you go, what the fuck are you doing? And just knock it out of his hand.
Come on, 100%. He's like, whatever, man. Not my monkey, not my circus. He's like, I'm just gonna go. I guarantee you, it was just one of those. You're
literally
crazy.
not my job.
Not my problem. I know I'm not gonna get hurt, so fuck it. Just whatever. Oh no, he's got me. 100%. I don't get paid enough for this shit. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I guarantee you too, man. That's just that is almost guaranteed on that.
I mean, come on. He's a trustee, dude. He's a trustee.
Yeah.
He was a prisoner.
He's like, hey, can I come with you?
Get out. He's like, exactly. Take him with you, man. He said, you gotta stay here and sell it. Come on, man. I let you go. Could have ratted you out and shit.
Yeah. According to unpublished interviews with Dillinger's attorney, Louis
Piquet? Oh.
Stephen Hawking's.
Piquet.
Yeah, Piquet. Vesker's Art O'Leary claimed to have sneaked the gun in himself. So it was fake. I'm saying it's fake. I don't give a shit. It was fake. But they carved the gun, gave it to somebody. It was like, oh, this is a real gun. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Leave me. That's a mad Jedi mind trick. He Obi-Wan Kenobi'd that shit.
I'm telling you, it's like, I'm telling you, man, not my circus, not my monkey.
You know, that's the first time I actually heard of that phrase. That's a cute face. That's
awesome.
On March 6th, Herbert Youngblood, that's a badass name, Youngblood.
Mm-hmm.
who escaped from Crown Point alongside Dillinger, was shot to dead by police in Port Horton, Michigan. Deputy Sheriff Cheris Cam, damn it,
Kavanaugh. No, I'm sorry.
Kavanaugh
Yeah, Kavanaugh.
was mortally wounded in the battle and later died. Before he died, Youngblood told officers Dillinger was in the neighborhood of Port Horton, and immediately officers began to search for the escaped man, but no trace of him was found. And an Indiana news reporter that Youngblood later retracted the story and said he did not know where Dillinger was at the time, and he had parted with him soon after their escape. Dillinger
That was guaranteed trying to get him off the set. That was just a misdirection.
Yeah,
100%.
a lot of people don't understand. I mean, Hollywood facet and everything to tell stories and everything. The inmates they'll back each other unless they're like. I mean,
unless you've actively fucked me over.
Yeah,
the inmate code says you got to back him up.
Yeah, unless you're a pedophile, then
all bets are off. All bets are off.
I know one inmate that was a pedophile and they beat him retarded.
Good.
I mean, he is mentally challenged now. He first started working up there. He was squared off and everything. He would talk, and we're not allowed to know what they've done. It's one of those things that we're not allowed to learn about the inmates and everything. I was like, okay. And I come in my next shift, my next block, and he's in the hospital. I have to. They're like, "Oh, you got to watch this guy in the hospital." I was like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Oh, dude, that guy." Well, when they're in the hospital, downtown hospital, you're allowed to look at their file. You're supposed to see if they have any escape attempts. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
He was a pedophile. I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense now."
Mm-hmm.
And
they always find out.
Yeah. And he had gotten beat so bad that his brain had swollen so much that he was mentally challenged after that. He was a retard. We'll just call him retard because fuck him.
He's a pedophile. I don't get it.
Yeah. I can. Oh man, but we gotta get through this. Dillinger was indicted by a grand jury and Bureau of Investigations, a prosecutor, and FBI. Organized a nationwide manhunt for him just hours after his escape in Lake County Jail. Dillinger reunited with his girlfriend, Eleni Billy Frenchett. According to Frenchett trial testimony, Dillinger stayed with her for almost 2 weeks. However, the two had actually traveled to Twin Cities and took in lodging in Santa Monica apartments in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they stayed for 15 days. Dillinger then met John Red Hamilton, and the two mustered a new gang consisting of Babyface Nelson gang, including Nelson, River Mint, Tommy Carlton, and Eddie Green. 3 days after Dillinger's escape from Crown Point, the second gang robbery. The second gang robbed a bank in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. A week later, they robbed First National Bank in Manson City, Ohio. And we actually went over this in Babyface Nelson's thing, but we'll get to hiding in Chicago. Make this a little bit short. Hiding in Chicago. By July 1934, Dillinger dropped completely out of sight, and federal agents had no solid leads to follow. He had, in fact, drifted into Chicago, where he won under an alias of Jenny Lawrence. I wonder if that's Jennifer Lawrence's father, or could be. Never know.
It would probably be grandfather, probably. Yeah. If you're gonna go, but I mean, it was just an alias, and he wasn't there. I don't think he was under that name for that long.
Yeah. Here's the fucked up shit.
That'd be crazy. Can you imagine?
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, my family, I'm related to Jesse James. Like through the younger game. One of the cousins.
Interesting.
Yeah. Here's something fucked up. He went about the alias of Jimmy Lawrence, a petty criminal from Wisconsin who bore a close resemblance to Dillinger.
That's
Fucking
that
hell.
is great. Can you imagine? He's like, yeah, man. You, anybody ever tell you look just like Dillinger? Yeah, I get that quite a bit. It's not me, but I get that quite a bit.
Because he also had plastic surgery. We'll go over that. But could you imagine that Jimmy Lawrence was actually? I mean, this is just conspiracy. This is just going out there. What if Jimmy Lawrence was the person that they killed,
And not Dillinger.
and Dillinger lived in a happy life, and he became Jennifer Lawrence's grandfather or great grandfather? Would it be great grandfather?
It'd be grandfather. In this time frame, probably be father.
Yeah. But could you imagine that?
Because my grandma was born in 25.
Yeah,
and she's 97 years old. So it would be.
Yeah,
it'd be conceivable. Yeah, it'd be conceivable.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? That'd be a fucked up conspiracy right there.
I mean, finding out what we have about with JFK in the last, couple of weeks.
Good, yes.
Could be any stranger was happening in real life.
Well, Dillinger worked as a clerk. Dillinger found that the large metropolis like Chicago, he was able to lead an anonymous existence for a while. What he did not realize is the center of the federal agents' dragnet happened to be in Chicago. When the authorities filed in Dillinger's blood-splattered getaway car in Chicago side street, they were positive that he was in the city. See, they didn't have DNA evidence, so I guess it was just the model and make, and they just put 2 and 2 together. That's some detective work, because they didn't have DNA back then.
Yep.
So that's some detective work. Okay, plastic surgery, according to Art O'Leary. As early of March 1934, Dillinger expressed an interest in plastic surgery and had asked O'Leary to check in with Palek on such matters. At the end of April, Palek paid a visit to his old friend, Dr. Willem Lusser. Lusser had participated in Chicago had a practice in Chicago for 27 years before being convicted under the Harrison Narcotic Act of 1931. God damn, Chicago is just crime alley, and it's never stopped. He was sentenced to 3 years in Leavenworth, but was paroled early as December 7th, 1932, and Plaque helped. He later testified that he performed plastic surgery on himself and obliterated the fingerprints impressions on the tip of his fingers by application of carcinogenic soda preparation. That's interesting. What is this? Sodium hydroxide. That's what it was. That's so sad. Carcinogenic soda I can't understand, but sodium hydroxide I can.
Right.
As soon as okay, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it when they give 2 different names. Plaque said Dillinger would have paid $5,000 for the plastic surgery, $4,400 split between Plaque, Lesser, and O'Leary, and $600 to Dr. Harold Cassidy, who would administer the anesthesia. The procedure would have took place at the hand of Plaque, longtime friend, 67-year-old James Probesco, at the end of May. I guess he didn't get the surgery. Yeah. On May 28th, loser. I want to say
Loser.
Loser.
yeah, it's loser. It's legitimately loser. Was picked up At his home at 7:30 by O'Leary and Cassidy, the three men then drove to uh Provost
Probosco. Probosco.
place. Dillinger closed to have a general anesthesiologist. Loser later testified. I asked him what worked he had wanted done. He wanted 2 warts, moles removed on the right lower forehead between the eyes, and one of at a left angle, other angle of the left eye. Wanted a depression of the nose filled in and scar. Okay. A large one of the left, the medium line of the upper lip uh erased. We'll just go with that. Wanted his dimples removed and wanted the angle of his mouth drawn up. He didn't say anything about his fingers that day to me. That's weird. Oh shit. Okay. Loser met Pleck again on Saturday, June 2nd. We'll just skip that one paragraph because it's just basically nonsense. With Pleck saying that more work needed to be was needed on Dillinger, and that Van Meter now wanted the same work done to him. Also, both now wanted work done to their fingertips. The price for the fingertips procedure would be $500 per hand, $100 per finger. Jesus. That's
And
probably,
that was back then. That was in the 30s.
yeah, that's probably around about $1,000 a finger now. Maybe more. Fuck, now I'm wondering, God, I hate wondering bullshit when we're actually filming. I'm just curious. Dude, it's for his whole hand, it would have been right around about $20,000.
Good Lord.
Yes. Fuck. Now I know where all that money went. Jesus. Losers used a mixture of nitric and hydraulic acid, commonly known as what?
Nitric and hydrochloric acid.
Nitric and hydrochloric acid. I know that's gonna.
That's nasty shit. That is some
Aqua Regia.
But it commonly known as aqua regia.
Yeah, that's some nasty shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally burning the tips of your fingers off and creating enough scar tissue that it's not going to grow back your fingerprints.
Yeah.
Like you're literally just scarring your fingerprints.
Yeah. Fuck.
Exactly.
And we'll just skip over this whole rest of this stuff. But they weren't able to do the procedure. That's most of it what we got. Dillinger, and this is the last bar. Dillinger and Hamilton, a Billy Fatted lookalike, met in June 1934 at the Barrel Fun nightclub located at 4541 Wilson Avenue. Dillinger interviews. Oh, damn it. Too much or too little. I need to hit the back of the throat so I can get that good lubrication. Fucking Chris is just giving me that. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, boy. Mm-hmm. You squid like it's the pig. Sweet, motherfucker. Sweet.
Get down. Boy.
Lawrence introduced himself as Jimmy Dillinger. Goddamn. Dillinger introduced himself as Jimmy Lawrence and said he was a clerk at Board of Trade. They dated until Dillinger's death at the Biographic Theater in July 1934. Division of Investigation Chief J. Edgar Hoover, wasn't he like a cross-dresser or something?
That's the rumor. I don't know if it's ever actually been confirmed. There's also rumors that he was either gay or bi. Uh,
Yeah.
Took a lot of male lovers, apparently. That's, again, it's rumors. I don't know that it's ever actually been.
Well, he had so many secrets. You think
We
that,
had secrets on literally everybody.
yeah, he had secrets on everybody.
This dude was one of the most paranoid people ever.
Yeah. J. Edgar Hoover created a special task force headquarters in Chicago to locate Dillinger. On July 21st, Anna Krampus Cobanas, a madam from a brothel in Gary, Indiana, also known as the Woman in Red, contacted the FBI. She was a Romanian immigrant. That's okay. That's what I remember her from, because I remember it from the movie. She was a Romanian immigrant threatened for deportation for low moral character. Yeah. Okay. I remember.
This is from the FBI.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you I was gonna call the FBI to see if I can get anybody for like profilers for serial killers and everything?
That'd be interesting.
It would have been interesting. I got Tansy.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting Tansy. And the only reason why I got Tansy is, well, because of the whole dildo thing. But it was that whole thing with the because the Amargo raid was like 2 weeks right before I was going to call the FBI, and I decided not to call the FBI. See if I can get somebody to come on the show for that. It's like, nah. She required to wear an orange dress so police could easily identify her. She was unsure which of the two theaters they would attend, the Biograph or the Marlboro. On December 15th, 1934, pardons were issued by Indiana Governor Henry G. Leslie for the offenses of which Anna Kopas was convicted. Kopas stated that on Sunday afternoon, July 22nd, Dillinger asked her whether she wanted to go to the show with them. She asked him what show was he going to see, and he said he would like to see like to see the theater around the corner, meaning the Biographer Theater. She stated she was unable to leave the house to inform Perseus or Martin about Dillinger's plan to attend the Biograph. But as they were going to have fried chicken for the evening meal, she told Polly that she told Polly she had nothing in which to fry the chicken and was going to the store to get some butter. That while at the store, she called Mr. Purvis and informed him of Dillinger's plan to attend the Biograph that evening and at the same time obtain the butter. She returned home so Polly would not suspect that she went out to call anybody. Now here's the thing. What if she forgot the butter? That would have been so fucked off. She forgot the butter.
Right. I mean, it's the littlest shit though that.
Yeah. I mean, most serial killers get caught because they end up like tail light or something stupid.
I was gonna say something like a tail light out or expired registration or
Yeah,
something stupid like that. Yeah.
But the cops had it surrounded, and approximately 8:30, Siege, Hamilton, and Dillinger were observing entering the Biograph Theater, which was showing the crime drama Manhattan Melodrama. Wow. That okay, that starring Clark Gable, Marina Lloyd, and William Prowl. During the stakeout, the Biograph manager thought the agents were criminals setting up a robbery. He called the Chicago police. That's fucked up. Who doubtfully responded and had to be waved off by the federal agents who told them that they were on a stakeout for the important target. When the film ended, Pervious stood in the front door, signaling Dillinger's exit by lighting a cigar. Both he and the other agents reported that Dillinger turned his head, looking the directions at the agent as he walked by, glancing across the street, then moved ahead of his female companions, reached into his pocket, but failed to extract his gun and run into a nearby alley. Other accounts stated Dillinger ignored a command to surrender, whipped out his gun, then headed for the alley. Agents already had the alley closed off. Three men. So it wasn't like in the movie where they just went right behind him and popped him in the back of the head.
Yeah, they just because it was the movie. He was still on the sidewalk when they shot him, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was walking.
Yeah, he was almost
and
point
one of the guys just went pop.
Yeah.
Three men pursued Dillinger in the alley and fired. Clarence heard shot twice. Charles Winstead 3 times, and Harold Hurl once. Dillinger was hit from behind and fell face first in the ground. Dillinger was struck 4 times, with 2 bullets grazed him, and one caused a superficial wound on his right side, which there's actually a Dillinger death mask. This is the old custom, and you can see like right underneath his right eye that the hole that they had. The fatal bullet entered through the back of his neck, severing the spinal cord, passed into the brain and extended just under the right eye, severing 2 sets of veins and arteries. God fucking, I still did it. An ambulance was summoned, although it was soon apparent that Dillinger had died from his gunshot wounds, and he was eventually pronounced dead at Alexander Brothers Hospital. According to investigators, Dillinger died without saying a word. Winstead was later thought to have fired the fatal gunshot and was consequently received a personal letter of commendation from J. Edgar Hoover. 2 female bystanders, Teresa Paulus and 80 next guy, were wounded. Dillinger bumped into the next guy just as the shooting started. Natasha, what the fuck is her name? God damn it. This is what slows down the fucking show. It's just me trying to figure out goddamn fucking words because I'm dyslexic as fuck.
Natal Sky
was shot and was essentially taken to Columbus Hospital. Dillinger was shot and killed by special agents July 22nd, 1934 at approximately 10:40 p.m. According to New York Times, reported the next day. Dillinger's death came only 2 months after the death of fellow notorious criminals Bonnie and Clyde. Weird. There was reports of people dipping their handkerchief and skirts into a pool of blood that had formed as Dillinger lay in the alley as keepsakes. And this is so strange about that time frame.
That is, yeah.
Well,
that's very weird when you think about it.
No. Okay, in this time frame, I think. I mean, some people still do it and everything. Bonnie and Clyde was way worse.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Well, okay, the handkerchief and the keepsake blood stuff and everything that's weird. Bonnie and Clyde, when I went over to the Bonnie and Clyde episode, they were taking fucking fingers, and the cops was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What? He's not using it anymore." I mean, technically, he's not wrong.
I mean, I think there was a lot more of a like a folk following of Bonnie and Clyde that there was John Dillinger though.
Yeah,
Because
I
everybody
think
in the neighborhood there around Bonnie and Clyde, like they were actively working against law enforcement to
yeah.
protect them. Like they saw them as some form of modern day uh, Robin Hood.
I don't see how they
Like
were
they were
Robin Hood because they
legitimately.
were.
Oh,
Well,
and I'm saying that was the persona that they had, and in that neighborhood, it's like, ooh, they're one of us. So
yeah.
they had this, like I
Well,
said, there was this mythology behind them where they were actually working against them.
the reason why I think there was that kind of mythology because during that time frame, banks were the villains,
Correct.
and
And
they
they
were
were only
big.
robbing banks.
Yeah.
Like they were horrifically violent while doing it. But people just kind of turned a blind eye to that. It's like, well, we'll excuse a little bit just because they're sticking it to the man.
Well, my brother-in-law is a good. Well, Dillinger had a. We'll finish this off real quick and we'll talk about it. Dillinger's body was available to public display in the Cork County morgue. An estimate 15,000 people viewed the corpse over the day and a half. As many as 4 death masks were also made. I guess they can just go in and just take the mask and just fucking leave. Dillinger's buried in Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis. Dillinger's gravestone has been placed several times because of vandalism by people chipping off pieces of it for souvenirs. If you actually look at the photo of it, you can see the chips of it being removed. Hilton Crunch, 1903 to 1976, an associate of Dillinger's on Silver Highs, is buried a few yards west. Bunch of literature on him. But no, my brother-in-law's grandmother, she knew Bonnie and Clyde.
Mm.
And she said Bonnie was a cunt and Clyde was like a shy guy. So it gives me a little bit of clarity because I went over one that Andy Stuffs keeps on talking about on his podcast.
Yeah.
About the Navy SEAL and the Navy SEAL didn't even pass buds. So I don't know if he was. I don't consider him a Navy SEAL, but he was kicked out, and he ended up. Him and his wife ended up killing somebody, and they went to a Hooter. Do you know this story?
No, doesn't
Okay.
ring a bell.
From what Stump said, and he keeps on saying, and the reason why he keeps on bringing this up because it was his buds class that this guy was from.
Yeah.
And he uses it as a reference as you can't judge every veteran or Navy SEAL or special ops the same way because I came out of a buds class and there was a guy in that buds class that ended up killing 2 people, and he killed 2 people with him and his wife, and he got arrested because he wanted a shirt from a hoarders and they broke in. But from what I was reading off of that, because I did the episode just because of that, and literally every evidence shows that it was the woman that was the antagonist that got everything. The same thing with Bonnie and Clyde. It looks more or less like Bonnie was the antagonist and the psychopath, and Clyde
she was absolutely a psychopath.
And Clyde was pussy struck. That's the only thing I can say about it. But that's the end of this episode. I mean, we got kind of a late start on this, but we still got started and got it done. We had some fun with it, and
absolutely.
We got me and you got to start doing these more. I mean, I like Johnny, and we get it done pretty good, but we just don't have that. I want that comedian. Type shit.
That's
I love
that's
it.
that's what I'm here for.
Well,
man.
we gotta. I can't wait till next week when Johnny comes back. But thank you all for watching. This is gonna come up on Saturday. So happy New Year's, everybody. Hope everybody has a safe New Year's and doesn't get too hectic. But if you're listening to this, give us a like on Facebook, drop us comments. We're actually, I'm surprised actually. I'm not boasting because we're so above. I'm boasting because I'm surprised.
Right?
I'm surprised. I went into this thing just having fun, and one more in 12 countries. We got some good views and listens. We got some good comments from people too over the year, and this is just the year-end type coming back and just praising everybody that's listened to us and commenting on stuff. And we found an extra host that loves doing it as much as we do, which he's a little bit shy. Unless you get a couple of vodka martinis into him, and then he's like, "Oh, fun and games."
Vodka martini. I don't know if I've ever actually had a vodka martini.
I've had one. I didn't. It wasn't a vodka martini. It was a gin and martini, and it's not tasty.
I'd rather. I mean, just give it to me straight, man. I'll do a couple of shots. Do a couple of shots. Give me a beer, and I'll drink some mead.
Dude, I seriously think that once you hit like a certain pay of how much money you have to go is like, I'm super rich now. Now I'm just gonna eat stuff and drink stuff that is totally really not tasteful. Because I'm the only thing that was like really bougie was that that distillery we went to, and you had that blueberry mojito.
Okay.
Blackberry mojito.
Yes, that was actually really good.
And I was like, I looked around.
That was really good.
After I drank, I had a little sip of that. I was looking around. It's like, we don't belong here. I'm just gonna put it there.
It didn't
belong here.
Dude, we need to go back to that place. I actually have a. Well, I won one of the silent auctions.
Which one?
For the whiskey.
Oh yeah. Didn't you get that?
I bought it with intentions to give it to Jay, and then everything happened, and he ended up moving away before I could give it to him. So it's sitting. I'm literally looking at it on my floor right here, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm probably just gonna end up having to like mail it to him because my intention was to give it to him.
I got an idea, and we'll do it after the show. Thank you all for listening and watching. I'll talk to you later, everybody.
Appreciate y'all.
Bye.